Hello everyone, and welcome to another week in the verse, where we take a look at all the shenanigans that have gone on over the past week in the Star Citizen universe and break them down for you. So before we get started, don't forget that we still have our competition running for the Tumbril Ranger bikes, so don't forget to get commenting for your chance to win one of those awesome bikes. And don't forget to show your love to the ASA organisation for sponsoring us this month. So check out their Discord, which will be in the description below. I'll plaster it on the screen for you now. And go over and have a chat with them in their Discord. They're awesome guys, and the organisation is very active. So if you're looking for somewhere to hang out, it's a cool place to be. Okay, so let's jump straight in.
Okay, so first up, CitizenCon news.
Yay.
Wave 1 tickets are going to go on sale Thursday the 27th. So initially it's going to be, I think, 125 tickets on 6 PM UTC. And then there will be another 125 tickets on 10 PM UTC. And then that same kind of format is going to follow on to the Friday. Now the Thursday tickets are subscribers and concierge only. The Friday tickets are open to anyone.
Right.
This is wave 1. We don't know how many waves are coming, but we would assume maybe 1 or 2 more like this at some point. Okay, yeah, not too sure why they're doing it like this. Would it not make more sense to just sort of release all the subscriber tickets on one day and just let the subscribers go for them, and then everyone else the day after? Why are they segmenting it into like 125 tickets each time? Yeah, I don't really understand it, but that's the way they're doing it.
It's weird. It is definitely weird. I mean, it makes sense for me in a way. I remember I always had this problem when I was trying to buy like festival tickets or, gig tickets, in that like they'd say, oh, tickets are on sale from Wednesday, and you're like, damn it, that is like 2 days before payday. And so you might even just, if you literally have no money, you miss out. I suppose at least with this way, you may be able to plan ahead a little bit, or you kind of feel go, give those people an option. I don't know, but
maybe
doesn't seem like a lot of tickets.
Yeah, we know that the convention centre can hold just over 800 seated people. So there definitely is going to be a wave 2. But yeah. Don't know why they've broken it up like that though.
Yeah, it seems weird, and I mean, obviously the actual centre itself can hold a mass of people, so I'm assuming they're going to have. I'm assuming they're going to have quite a lot of stuff in there, which means that it's if that place was empty, you could just fill it to capacity with like 10,000 people or whatever. But I suppose once they cram all their stuff in, a few thousand maybe a day, I would assume. But it's a weird way of doing it. And it does mean that you've got to kind of constantly be on your toes for the next time they release some tickets. But,
yeah. Okay, roadmap changes. So a couple of weeks ago, we didn't actually get to report this at the time, but what's happened is that the AI improvements that were due in 3.6 have basically been pushed back to 3.7. So this is AI 3D pathfinding, the AI bartender improvement, and NPC civilian improvements, all been pushed back.
Right. Sounds about right.
Yeah. Bit of a bummer. They were really flogging the bartender improvement, showing some of the work that was going into it, only to push it back.
Yeah. It seems a shame as well, because like you said, they were really pushing that and sort of showing all the different ways in which you can react and all that sort of stuff, and then it's going to die off again. We're going to kind of forget about that for now, and then it's just going to kind of flop out, rather than coming out with a fanfare. And I mean, let's face it, the AI at the moment, especially like the pathfinding, is just terrible. It's terrible. They need to get it sorted, man. Yeah,
I was really looking forward to that, but we're going to have to wait longer. That's kind of it for the PU roadmap movements, and that should probably be the end of anything getting pushed back at this point. 3.6 is already in Ivakai, so it's doubtful they can pull anything else out of it now. Squadron 42 roadmap, however, there's a couple of movements on there this week. the mining spider, the big mining rig, multi-legged thing, that's actually been pushed back to the end of the year now. There was kind of a hope that once it was complete and ready for Squadron 42, it would kind of find its way into the PU at some point. Maybe just probably not usable for us, but maybe just see it kind of walking around near Levski, maybe.
Yeah, just AI controlled, looking cool.
Yeah, let's move back to the end of the year. Also, the Vandal Cleaver has moved back. We're probably not going to see that for a long time anyway. I would imagine they would kind of keep that for Squadron 42. An interesting ship to see in the game that no one's seen before, sort of thing.
Keep it unique.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this week's lore post was about Basilisk. It's a ship armour company. Goes into a bit of detail. Detail-wise, for the PU, nothing really interesting in that regard. But if you like your lore posts, then head on over, check it out. Then we had inside Star Citizen. They showed off a couple of new weapons for 3.6. There was a pistol, a laser SMG, which was kind of interesting. They said it was a full auto burst. Which is kind of odd. I'm very interested to actually try that and see if it makes any difference to the way it handles, or if it's just a gimmick.
Yeah, it's definitely got. It's interesting because obviously, very few people in any first-person type shooter games will use full auto. They'll always want to use 3-shot burst, maybe even go down to single shot and have a lot more control because you get tighter grouping. Everything's just a little bit more accurate. But that was really interesting in that it did the full auto, but in round loops of bursts of like 3 or 4. I think it was 3.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. And he did get some pretty good grouping even at distance. So it'd be fun to play with that, see what it's like.
Yeah. And they showed off the new, I think it was a neutron cannon, which had some really cool flashy graphics effects going on in the back of it. Not that anyone's ever going to see the special effects on the back of the weapon. But it did look really cool.
Yeah.
And then they kind of went through the different phases of PTU release. I guess they've been getting lots of questions about why can't I get in the PTU? So they thought, okay, let's tell them again.
Yeah. It was almost like it was quite convenient timing, considering that only last week we were talking about do they listen to our feedback, and then they really did cover that during that little segment, saying we take into consideration everything you say, and then we reiterate and we reiterate. And I thought, you've been watching our videos. It's good to see it, though. That it's good for them to. It's been a long time, I think, since they've really talked about the PTU and how it works. And for newer people who maybe think to themselves, well, why haven't I got access, or what do I have to do it? Why do we even need it? It's good to sort of have them break it down, basically.
Yeah, it's true. Newer people probably aren't aware of the process that goes on. Me, myself, I've been asked maybe twice this week how to get into the Ivakai. So there's definitely people that aren't aware of how the system goes.
Yeah, and you've got to want to be a glutton for punishment if you want to get into the Ivakai, because it's the main reason why really I've left most of the bug shenanigans down to you, is because we don't need both of us in the Ivakai, and I don't think I'd want the weekly punishment of Ivakai. So no thanks.
Yeah, it's a bit grueling sometimes.
Yeah, it's very useful, and it is a brilliant way of doing it, and I commend all the people who are Ivakai, because it is hard work, because you are fishing through just to see your bugs before the people, when we get PTU and we're like, oh, this is pretty good, there's still bugs, and they iron them out, but before that stage it's a nightmare most of the time, and you think, I think it would just be, I think, painful for the majority of people to see the game in that state. So
okay, then they went on to the transit system improvements and actually showed a quick diagram of the system they're kind of looking at that will automatically generate trains, or hover trains, whatever you want to call them, to kind of populate the route, so that they basically just set a timing, like a timer, on the stop and say they want a train to arrive at this stop every minute, and the system will automatically generate enough trains so that actually happens, which is really needed in certain places, especially like Hurston.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's painful sometimes when you get to a stop and it's like 358 seconds away.
Yeah.
You're like, come on. And I mean, in real life, that could be a thing and it doesn't matter. But real life is 24 hours a day, there's plenty of time. But when you're playing a game, you're like, actually, yeah, that is one of the things which is actually painful. Give me a 15-minute warp is fine. But have me standing still waiting for a train for like 3 minutes, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Okay, then they kind of went on to this new Tinted Impact Effect that they talked about. So currently at the moment, if you like shoot a rock on a moon, it will throw up a sort of dust effect. Sometimes it will give you just a black cube. Strange graphic.
Yeah.
But usually it should give you some sort of dust impact effect, but it's kind of stuck at a certain colour. So this new system will kind of borrow the colour scheme of the surrounding environment to make it look a little bit more natural.
Yeah, it's definitely a good idea because you shoot a what was a good example, like when there's an area, I can't remember exactly where it is, but there is an area on one of the moons where it almost looks like marble cake. You know what I mean? It's all these different colours of ground, and it doesn't matter where you shoot or what you drive over, it's just a greyish looking dust, and you're like, it's orange dust on the ground, so what's happening there? So yeah, definitely it's going to add a little bit more to the immersion, which is what we want. So it's very looked interesting, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. And that went into some new lighting effects, which we kind of previously saw, I believe, in a different episode of Inside the Verse, or Inside Star Citizen, rather. But this was just a sort of... It showed a few shots of the dynamic lighting going into effect, and it looked really cool. Can't wait to get it in Verse. Looks good.
Yeah, very pretty. They've done a bloody good job, and I think we discussed this maybe even like probably weeks and weeks ago, because I think it was one of the first things they showed. But that's going to make a big difference to when you're doing them bunker missions, and it's like creepy and really, really awesome.
And then Inside the Star Citizen ended up with the new Merlin update and first look at the Archimedes. And what I will say is that the Archimedes looks really good, a lot better than the Merlin. I love the Merlin as a ship and its actual look. I like it, but this Archimedes has got little wingtips going on, and it just looks really better. Yeah,
they've done a cracking job on that, because the like you said, the Merlin is an awesome looking little ship. It's so it looks like a blade, you know what I mean? It's so sharp and pointy and awesome. But the one thing that it lacked was any kind of it didn't look very I don't know what the word would be. I imagine it to go as it goes past, you know what I mean? There was just no grunt to it. I don't know how to describe it. But that Archimedes looks like a beast. Those massive racing engines on the back and all the intakes and everything. It looks awesome. And I weren't a fan really of the Merlin as much as you, but that Archimedes, I would definitely have that as my little run around. Looks wicked.
Yeah. Okay, and then the week rounded up with new Star Citizen Live, which was dedicated to the environment art team. We had previously seen these guys at CitizenCon, basically kind of talking about what they were showing here. But in this one, they were kind of dressing up a crime scene down a back alley, which was actually kind of cool. The end product looked really funny. The killer turtle and the big hot dog.
Teddy bear, the creepy lighted teddy bear. It's cool to see them like being able to do stuff like that on the fly. And like you said, we've actually kind of heard it from their mouths, in person, talking about this sort of stuff as well. And it is fascinating. I think the video itself was about half an hour too long. I think if only it wasn't live and it was edited, that could be a really good video. I just found it a little too long for my taste, but very cool.
Yeah, it was good to see them sort of putting the scene together. and the sort of processes that they have to go into it. But like you say, it was a little bit long.
What I liked as well, I think, about it is when they show kind of the how clever they are with their assets in the background, so that, you know, if they want to just make an alleyway, they've got all these kind of building blocks that they just Jenga together, you know, to make what they want, and it's very clever, and I like the fact that they've got this whole thing where, you know, someone randomly says to them, oh, I need an asset made for this, and they make it, and then it never gets used, but then they've got this asset library filled with random stuff, and then all of a sudden you think, I need a blood bag, and they go, oh well, yeah, we've got one of those. It's just it must be vast now, that little vault they've got. So
yeah.
Okay, so there you have it. That's it for the week. Not quite as much packed into this week, but still interesting nonetheless. And yeah, it's cool to see kind of the progression, and, you know, hear from some of the devs. So yeah, awesome stuff. So yeah, don't forget to comment on this and every video. Get yourself a Tumble Ranger bike and join our motorcycle gang. We will roam the lands. I don't know what we'll do. Maybe
sure.
Just, I don't know. Just sit outside convenience shops and look at people funny.
Yeah.
But there you go. So yeah, thanks everyone very, very much for watching. Thanks everyone for getting us up and over 1,000 subscribers. That's just awesome. We haven't really mentioned it yet, so I thought, woohoo, let's have a little party. So yeah, thanks so much, guys. It means a lot to us, and you know, we're really, really happy that people are enjoying the content. So yeah, awesome stuff, and we will see you next week. Bye bye.
Bye bye.